Alright, so this is going to be a little bit different compared to what I normally do because I mean I'm not used to doing this in specific. Mostly I just focus on gameplay stuff, but I decided it's been a while since I really made any, for any form of real uh content. So I decided I wanted to try to do something a little bit different compared to normal, and I wanted to throw my 2 cents into how I feel Dr. Mario stacks up in the current meta, or maybe not meta, but in terms of the matchups within Melee. And obviously, being a mid-tier character, it's not gonna be necessarily very skewed towards having a lot of favorable ones, but honestly I believe that this character is pretty underrated, and yeah, I just wanted to show off how I feel about him as a character and who he does good against, and um, who he may do bad against. And obviously I'm not an expert, I'm not a pro, so my opinions are going to maybe be a bit different compared to other people's, but this is just how I feel about the character, having played him for the better part of I would say about 3 years now. Took about a year break or so, just kind of lost interest in the game, and then recently came back into it, started playing again, and have decided I wanted to make this, and I wanted to show this off just to try to see what your opinions are, and maybe the opinions of other people. But I've spoken enough, I'll just get into it. So first, starting with Fox, and I mean, this is obvious, 40-60. I mean, Fox just overwhelms Dr. Mario. He has laser to camp him out. I mean, Doc does have the cape to deflect the lasers, but using cape against Fox isn't necessarily as effective as using it against maybe, say, Falco, a character who actually has hit stunts on their lasers, especially since Fox can just short hop double laser. He can shoot a lot more at you. You're using cape to deflect the lasers, but ultimately that's not really affecting Fox so much as it is affecting you, because now you're in the cape animation. Maybe you incur hit stun, you're vulnerable, you're not actionable. So obviously the laser tool is very good for Fox. It's very useful. He can camp out Doc with it, especially on maps or on stages such as Dreamland, where he has so much more room to run around. There's a lot more space. The platforms being so spaced out means he can just platform camp around there. Overall makes it very effective, and I mean, it just demonstrates how good Fox's lasers are, especially in the matchup. And besides going into a lot of the obvious, just Fox stuff in general, obviously Shine, very good gimp move, back air, very good for edge guarding, up air and up smash and up throw all can lead into kill setups, kill off the top. Doc is kind of within that weird sort of midway floaty, but also not floaty, but also not a fast follower range, where you can kind of get caught out by a jab up smash or even jab short hop up air. And obviously Doc isn't the fastest character. Fox can just run laps around them, and especially within trade situations, like if you're Dr. Mario going in with run in nair or cross up nair, if Fox trades with you, Fox pretty much always wins, because I mean, first off, haha, Dr. Mario nair gets stronger the longer it gets out. So if you run in with it, it's not going to have as much knockback if you go for the immediate trade, and also Fox is just going to capitalize off it better. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious that the Fox just kind of runs him over. I mean, lays if without like having to spend too much time on him, because most of it is very obvious. He's just much quicker, kills very early, has an easy time gimping. Obviously, Doc does have certain tools in his favor. He has pills. Can be pretty effective for piling on damage, especially since a lot of foxes aren't going to be trying to reflect them off shine. They're mostly just going to try to either avoid the pill, take the hit to run in, or power shield it. So in a lot of ways, you can create space with the pill. You can edge guard fox with it. Obviously, you have the cape, which is pretty good against against the Firefox recovery, and also to a degree the illusion recovery. Although that one you more so have to stuff out with forward tilt, because if you don't get the timing on the cape, you just straight up miss, and now Fox is in the advantage again. You know, they can't recover to ledge, or they can just zip past you and do damage. But yeah, mostly forward tilt is your better option in that scenario. The juggle game, the chain grab, especially on Final Destination, up throw, you get a good amount of kill setups. You can do like up throw forward air if you're proficient enough in it, and if you're able to take advantage of the Fox player's DI, you can take advantage of DI in on up B cancel, which sets up into a good amount of moves, sets up into forward air, sets up into up smash, sets up in, well, I don't know about up smash necessarily, but it can also set up into like forward smash. You can juggle with the front hit of up air. Yeah, I mean Fox isn't necessarily the heaviest character, so, and Doc having pretty good kill power does mean that he can exploit Fox's low weight, which are pretty good in that regard. But again, sadly not enough to make it any better than a 40-60 in my opinion. That's just how I feel about this matchup in general. I don't think it's the worst, but I do think it's pretty bad. Now, Marth is a bit of an interesting case, and I'm actually going to put Marth in 45-55. And there's a few reasons for that I can list out as in my experience in the matchup. So obviously one of the most important things is the pill, because Marth doesn't have any kind of projectile at his disposal. He has the disjoint with the sword, which is obviously very useful, but again, he has to approach you in order to do that, because he doesn't have a projectile. So he doesn't necessarily have to come to you, in the sense that, you know, Marth is able to pretty easily stuff out pills if they choose to do so. If you're throwing out pills, on at a far distance, Marth is able to stuff them out, oftentimes with jab, with neutral air, with forward air. So it's not guaranteed that you'll always be putting him in a bad position using pill, but a lot of the times having that pill to your advantage is pretty good at stuffing out Marth, or at least forcing them to stuff out the pill. So that's in terms of the long distance game. I'd say in the mid range is where Marth is most comfortable, and also when he has you in the air, but that's later on. So in the mid range, it's kind of a weird area, because again, Doc is such a stubby character. He has very short limbs. He doesn't have very good range overall. Obviously, he has the pill, but you know, you're mostly going to be using that to tack on damage and to set up space for yourself, forcing forcing them to throw out a move to stuff it out, or forcing them to jump over or duck under it. So when you're in that mid range, Marth is kind of comfortable. He has a lot of room to poke you out and to swing at you. You don't have a lot of room to be able to, to swing back because you have so little range. And especially in that mid range where he's very comfortable with getting his tippers, and especially getting those grabs, it becomes very difficult for Doc to get in and to approach, because oftentimes you just have to create openings with pills. You have to wait, you have to shark from underneath. But yeah, there's a lot of situations in that mid range where it can be very uncomfortable for Dr. Mario, especially when, Marth gets that grab, because depending on your DI, he can get kill setups off of like forward throw, or he can gimp you with down throw or back throw if he reads your jump or your recovery, because again, Doc has pretty bad recovery. But generally you want to stay away from that mid range. You really want to be on the extremes, because specifically I think close range, I would say, is where Doc does pretty good overall against Marth, and that's the reason why I have it at 45-55 instead of 40-60, because in the close range where Marth doesn't have access to his tippers so much, he has to rely on mostly on his hilt hitboxes on his sword. He's a lot weaker. Dr. Mario can take advantage of that. You can go in against Marth. You have a much easier time getting in on him and actually doing damage in there. You have a lot of damage and kill setups off of moves such as down throw. You can down throw and then juggle with up air. You can do down throw into up smash, down throw into back air, and within that close range, especially when you're at low percent and you can crouch cancel a lot of what Marth does, and he has to rely on grabs, you can really take advantage of the fact that Marth doesn't have access to his tippers. You're able to really capitalize on the fact that you're in on him, and I think that's where Doc does best, especially if you're able to shark out Marth from underneath. If they're above you on the platform or in the air, you can juggle them quite a bit with up air. Marth isn't exactly the heaviest character, so you have a lot of opportunities to, well, not a lot of opportunities necessarily, but you have decent opportunities to get kills on him, especially with forward air, forward smash, and down smash, especially some of Doc's stronger moves, and even off like back throw. And I think that's another important aspect of it, is the edge guarding, because both of these characters can edge guard each other really well in certain scenarios. Well, in most cases, Marth does better in the edge guarding, but yeah, and Doc doesn't really have a stellar recovery, so that's kind of expected. I mean, yeah, in terms of the edge guarding, Marth can go out off stage and swat Dr. Mario away. It's on certain stages, especially on like Yoshi's, he gets really early kills off of tippers, and even if he doesn't, he launches you so far that you may not even make it back on the stage, especially because when you're recovering as Dr. Mario, you kind of, if you're using that down B to make it back, you have to be using it high up, because otherwise it can just drop from the ledge, back air you, or just run off the stage forward air, which, I mean, that swats you away. If you don't have your double jump, you just kind of die. But in that regard, Dr. Mario also has a pretty good edge guard game against Marth. Obviously, there's the pills, which you can use to snipe from above if you're shooting them down at Marth. Usually what it's going to come down to is if they're off stage and you see them recovering with their side B stall, you have to wait out their side B stall and then back air them to swat them away back towards the blast zone. It's not always going to kill, but having that back air, especially since it's one of Doc's better moves in terms of range and edge guarding, it's strong enough to where it's going to swat Marth away. And if you're able to call out that side B stall, you're going to have a much easier time edge guarding them. And if they do make it back, or not make it back, but if they make it close to the ledge and they're forced to up B onto the stage, then you can sort of do the Fox and Falco thing where you roll to the ledge, you light shield, and you do the Marth killer. Although on Dr. Mario, it's a little harder to execute the Marth killer because you kind of have to fast fall a little bit in the middle of it. I'm not even that good at it necessarily, but you do have to fast fall a bit during it because otherwise you may not get the ledge in time and he may just steal it from you. And I mean, besides that, I mean, they both can be a bit volatile on the edge guarding end. So in that regard, I'd say Marth has a slight edge just because of how bad Dr. Mario's recovery is. But again, they can both be fairly easy to edge guard if you're able to read them out. Obviously, that's not always going to happen because it's not always easy to tell if they're going to recover high, if they're going to up B, if they're going to air dodge back on stage, if they're going to wave land. You don't know what they're going to do all the time, but if you are able to see it and you are able to call it out, then it can be a bit volatile on both ends. And honestly, in terms of the combo and punish game, they both just kind of mess each other up quite a bit. Sometimes Doc can juggle Marth, but Marth can also keep Dr. Mario in the air. Dr. Mario has pretty good kill setups, but again, Marth has insane kill setups, sometimes off of throws, and obviously the gimping aspect makes it really easy to get those low percent kills. I mean, they can both juggle each other, keep each other in the air. They have trouble coming down. In that sense, I put it at 45-55 just because I think Marth has the slighter edge in most scenarios. I mean, he does have better range. He generally, even though he does struggle to kill a lot, with the whole Marthritis thing, there's a lot of times where Doc's recovery is just so bad to where even if Marth is struggling to get raw kills off like center stage, he can just go out to you and edge guard you if you're off stage. So yeah, there's a lot of back and forth between the matchup. I know not a lot of people will probably agree, or at least maybe not on the Marth end, agree on this being 45-55. That's just how I feel. I think this one's not as bad as some of the other ones. I do think it's still slightly losing, but not as bad. And I mean, yeah, in general, they both can combo each other. They can both edge guard each other, but Marth has better range, better tools, and I think he excels in the other two departments just a little better. Jigglypuff, again, I don't think a lot of people necessarily agree with this one. I have it as 50-50. And I mean, I don't blame it if people don't agree with this one. This is just how I feel. I think this one's pretty even, and I actually really enjoyed this matchup, so this may just be my bias, but I've always seen this one as being very doable, and it hasn't really been shown much in recent times, especially not with how little Dr. Mario players there are, and in general, just not there being a lot of Jigglypuff players. But I mean, there are a couple, but again, not a whole lot besides the obvious ones. But I mean, I think this is fairly even in my opinion. I put this even enough to be 50-50. Obviously on Doc's end you have the pills, which very good at stuffing out characters without any projectile, and again, besides that huge back air, Puff doesn't have the biggest range. Obviously there's the kill power aspect. Dr. Mario can kill really early on Jigglypuff with certain moves, especially forward air and forward smash. Yeah, this is one of the few characters where Dr. Mario actually has decent enough range to be able to poke her out and to take advantage of those close quarter situations. You have some kill setups off of down throw. Well, not kill setups, but you have some combo setups off of down throw neutral air, down throw up air, down throw back air. Um, and then you have the up B cancel options, but those aren't as good on Jigglypuff as they are on, say, Fox. Mostly because Jigglypuff is so light and so floaty that you're not even really going to get anything off of it. You have Jab, which can actually lead into up smash at higher percents. But yeah, that's mostly it's the range, the pills, and the kill power that make Doc really good, and also the rest punish, which is one of the biggest reasons for me. Well, not one of the biggest, but it's a major reason. Obviously, there's the rest punish. If Jigglypuff misses a rest, or if you die off the side from a rest and you have enough time to get back, you can just cape, and then get a move off. You can maybe do a throw setup, one of the ones that I mentioned earlier, to tack on more damage, or if she's at high enough percent, which, I mean, with being one of the lightest characters in the game, doesn't have to be necessarily that high. You can just straight up kill her. As for the rougher aspects of the matchup, obviously there's the offstage game where Jigglypuff just excels. She's just so mobile in the air. She can go out and edge guard you. There's the back air, which really helps cover a ton of range. It makes it very difficult for Dr. Mario to get in at times. A lot of times you don't necessarily have to shark, but you do have to work very hard to get inside. You really have to focus on using your pills to suffer out, because you need to create that space from below. You need to force her to be away from you, or not away from you in the sense that, you know, she can camp you up, but be away from you to where you throw out the pill and you make her get out of your range so she doesn't back air you, and then you can wave dash in, you can dash in, and now you're underneath her. She's forced to drift away to be able to hit you with that back air. So really it's just about using pill and finding a good way to set yourself up to do damage. But again, with how floaty she is, that can be pretty difficult to do. So yeah, there's the back airs, there's the edge guards. The back air is probably the biggest thing. Like, you can trade your back air with her back air, but a lot of the times it's just favorable in her scenario, because if you're at low percents, she can just wall of pain you. If you're at high percents, you can maybe get a kill off it, but if you don't kill her, if she doesn't die, then she can just flow over to you and hit you again. Because again, Dr. Mario doesn't have the best mobility in the air, doesn't have the best recovery. And I mean, obviously there's the camping aspect of it. You have pills, which you can use to rack her percent up, but you're going to have a hard time catching her. You're going to have trouble killing her off the sides, off the top. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of problems overall with fighting her off stage, especially since it's so hard to edge guard her. But I've always felt that this matchup in particular really isn't that bad. I've always felt that that it would be close to even. I think it's even, but again, other people may disagree. Some may agree, but I've always felt that this one is pretty even overall. I mean, the rest punishes, the kill power, the percent setups, the pills. It's just dealing with that edge guarding, the aerial battle, and the offstage game. Falco is, I mean, yeah, 40-60. There's really not much that needs to be said other than just Falco destroys a lot of the mid tiers and the low tiers, and this is no different. Obviously, you have the capes to deflect the lasers, which do have hit stun on them, which is better for you. You have a bit of an easier time edge guarding Falco generally. He has a shorter recovery. He doesn't have the hitbox on his up B. you can use your tilts to poke out the side B, but I mean this is just a really bad matchup overall. I mean, there's the pillar combos, just shine down there over and over again, just building up a ton of percent over time. Lasers can stuff you out if you choose not to cape them, which honestly a lot of the times you're gonna have to power shield them, because if you're just caping over and over again, you're getting stuck in the cape animation, or you get stuck in hit stun. You don't really have many abilities to fight back when that's going on. There's the pillar combos. I mean, the kill power. Falco has slightly better range than Fox, slightly better survivability based off his weight. I mean, yeah, it's especially those lasers are, one of the biggest parts. And one other thing that I didn't really mention against Fox is, against Fox you have the tool of using full hop down air, which often you can use to stuff out Fox on the rise up on his jump, if you're trying to trade with him, or if you're just trying to overshoot. But against Falco you don't really have that option, because he can just trade your down air with his down air, and I mean his is going to win out. So I mean, yeah, he just has a ton of kill setups, can do a ton of damage off those pillar combos, and I mean there's really not a whole lot that you can necessarily do against him to effectively counter him. I think he's worse than Fox in that aspect. And then next we have Sheik, which again I am going to put 45-55 right here next to Marth. So Sheik is a bit weird. So Sheik in this game is generally plays fairly similar to Dr. Mario in some senses. They often play around a lot with chain grabs, with throw setups, with positioning using their projectiles. Doc with the pills, Sheik doing it with needles. Fairly not fairly easy to stuff out, but a bit of linear recoveries. So in that sense, you can kind of think of Sheik in this matchup as a bit of an upgraded Dr. Mario, which is why I'm not going to dwell too much on her. Mostly, she has better range, better kill power, has the chain grabs, off down throw. And I mean, Dr. Mario has the same stuff, but just to a lesser extent. Sheik is able to edge guard him better. Doc can edge guard Sheik, but again, Sheik has longer limbs, so better hitboxes, and can generally kill earlier. So for how similar they are, I'd say this one is fairly close, at least compared to some of the other matchups. But again, I think that I think that despite that, Sheik being in a way a bit of an upgraded version of Dr. Mario, makes her more favored, which is why I have 45-55. I don't think it's that bad, because obviously you still have the pills, you still have your kill setups, you still have your kill power, you can still edge guard her with back air. But again, it's just going to be a lot more work on your end to win neutral, because of how short your limbs are as a doctor compared to the ninja. So it's really just a bit of bad luck on that end. But yeah, I don't think it's that bad overall. And then this guy. And I'll just say it straight up, I think this is the worst Dr. Mario matchup in the game. Captain Falcon. I could go on forever about this, because in all honesty, this could just be my bias. I hate playing this matchup, but I'll just try to be concise with it as much as possible. So this matchup, I'll start with the good things in the Dr. Mario scenario. Hills can be used to create space. You have chain grabs, and you can edge guard. You can edge guard with cape and back air. You have your up throw chain grabs, and you can create your space with pills. And now for everything else, Falcon can stuff out pills with pretty much every aerial that he has, which he's going to do anyways, because he's running towards you and he's trying to combo off of you, and every Falcon aerial combos into each other, which is stupid and insane. He has insane mobility. He can just charge straight at you and overwhelm you. He has insane kill power. He can kill you from center stage stupid early, especially because of how bad and exploitable Dr. Mario's recovery is. He has kill setups off of throws. He has kill setups off of aerials. He lives very, very long because of how heavy he is. He lives unnaturally long compared to some of the other characters here, which makes him super hard to kill and makes you have to work much harder. Even though he doesn't have a projectile, he can stuff out your pills, and he moves so fast that he can close the distance with you very easily, especially since your mobility isn't naturally going to be great. And while you may have the chain grab on him, Falcon is a very heavy character, so the chain grab timing is much tighter than it is on Fox and Falco, which, I mean, you do have the option to go for down throw regrabs, but that's much harder to react to. And I mean, it is possible, but it's going to be very difficult to do so consistently, at least compared to up throw. And I mean, yeah, there's not a lot to say. I hate this matchup. Quite frankly, I hate fighting Captain Falcon. But I mean, yeah, there's not really much you can do against a character who's so fast, who hits so hard, who has so many combos and kill setups. You can try trading with him, but it's just never going to work out in your favor. You have to really, really be patient about things. You have to try to space them out as much as possible with your back air. You really have to work towards getting him off stage, or to killing him off the sides, because off the top it's just not going to happen most of the time. I mean, he can just bulldoze you over with knee. He has setups with stomp, with back air, with up air, with down throw, with up throw. It's insane. He can just kill you so easily. He mows you over. He has so much speed that he can use to just dash in and out of your range, to dash past you, to dash away from you. He's just absurd. He can absolutely just mow over you and destroy you. I mean, on smaller stages like Yoshi's, you just have almost no chance at times, because he just kills you from center stage so early with Stomp. He has so many setups. He can edge guard you really well, because again, recovery is pretty predictable for the most part. You have up B cancel to put pressure on shield, but it's not amazing, especially against a character who has so much more range than you. I mean, you have setups off of it if they DI in, but most likely they're not going to. And I mean, that's if you're able to actually kill. I mean, yeah, you're gonna struggle to kill against him because he's so heavy. Kills get stuffed out. You don't have a lot of range. You can honestly drill down there might be your best tool against Falcon, or one of your better tools. Just attack on percent, back air to edge guard, cape to deal with the up B recoveries, up airs to juggle him, up obviously your chain grabs. But I mean, yeah, this matchup is just miserable. It's crazy how bad it is. I hate it personally, and I know some other people might disagree and say that maybe Falco's worse or Fox is worse. But I don't know. I've always just hated this matchup. I think it's awful. I think it's his I think it's Dr. Mario's worst matchup. The amount of kill setups, the kill power, the weight, the speed, it's just everything's going against your favor. He can stuff you out with aerials. He can just outspace you completely. He has throw setups, insane kill setups, can kill from early, can edge guard. There's just this matchup for just frustrates me to no end. And I mean, it's not like it's not like I always lose to Captain Falcon. Like, obviously, if you can combo him, you can find kill setups off of like back throw or off of gimping, or your up throw forward air, whatever you may use, or off of just a straight down smash. Then obviously, yeah, then you're gonna have a better time if you're able to capitalize off that. But if they know what you're doing and what you're working towards, they're just going to stuff you out the whole time. It's awful. So yeah, not much else to say. And now Peach. This is a bit of a tricky one. I've been really debating whether to put her in 45-55 or 50-50, but at the moment I think it's slightly more 50-50. There's a few reasons I think that, but this is mostly what it comes down to. Doc actually has decent juggling ability against Peach. With up air, you can shark her from underneath, especially when she's using her float. You can pop up from underneath her, or you can even get right beneath her and up tilt to pop her up if you don't want to up air. But yeah, mostly you can use up air to swat her away, or to try to set up into forward air. Obviously, you have the similar down throw setups that you have against Jigglypuff to tack on damage. Again, if she's in a position where she's floating, you can try full hop down air to rack percent. In terms of the projectile game, both of you have projectiles. You have pills, she has turnips. Obviously, turnips, you can catch them, throw them back, or you have access to cape them back, which is very, very effective. But again, you have to watch out for where she places those turnips or at what time she pulls them, especially because you don't know when she's going to throw them necessarily, which makes it a bit more difficult in that sense to really get a gauge on if you're able to safely throw a cape, because if you just whiff it out, then she can throw the turnip at you or get a setup against you. She can just slap you away with forward air, or she can get a clean down smash in. But I mean, yeah, besides those things, besides the juggling ability, the kill power, and the pills, I mean, I wouldn't say Dr. Mario has an easy time edge guarding Peach, but I think if you can get her low enough to the ledge, you can somewhat comfortably throw out back airs just to stuff out her spacing. You can cape if she has her umbrella out, her parasol, because it will, I believe, put her into, not into free fall, but it'll put her into tumble, I believe. So she will be able to act back out of it. But if you do get that option, whenever she's descending at higher percent, you will be able to knock her down. And I mean, obviously, if she's floating back onto the stage and you cape her, then she can't really grab the ledge. But usually, if that's the case, then she'll already be pretty high up, so she'll just be able to land back on the stage. I mean, yeah, you don't want to overextend against her, obviously, because she can just float and then swat you away off stage and then edge guard you really easily. But if you're able to get a sense of whether they're going to go for ledge or go high, or when they're going to drop with the parasol, or when they're going to pull it back out, then you can get a pretty good gauge of when to throw out your back air, or even when to throw out pills, just to try to force her to drift back or drift forward. As for the harsher aspects of the matchup, obviously there's down smash, which just completely ruins you if you're crouching. This 50-60% if she gets every hit of it off. Obviously, while you are able to reflect the turnips with cape, if she does manage to to get them, uh, and she does manage to hit you with them, then you're gonna get a damage piled on over time, and you know, mentally it's probably going to create that sense of, okay, when is she going to throw the cape, when is she not, and or not the cape, but when is she going to throw the turnips, when am I going to throw out the cape. And I mean, when you're off stage, obviously she has an easier time edge guarding you because of that, because of the access um to the turnips, especially if you've already uh thrown out cape to stall your recovery. um you know, she has floats. She can float just above you, or she can descend down and float. She can forward her. If she's above you, she can down air. She has some of her, I believe she has some of her own setups off of down throw, maybe down throw back air. I'm not entirely too sure, but yeah, if she manages to hit you off stage, um, yeah, it's pretty rough. Because she will edge guard you most likely. And I mean, this is just personally, I think these two, Jigglypuff and Peach, are kind of biased in my case, because I do really enjoy fighting the floaty matchups. I actually prefer fighting them over the fast fallers. So I personally see them as being more even than maybe a lot of people may think, but I see it as you know, these two, because of how much kill power you have, and because of how not light, well, Peach isn't it's entirely light, but because of how floaty they are and how they're not necessarily as heavy as some of the other characters, you are able to swat them away pretty easily. You can get them out of your range if you're in control of the match, or you can force them to drift in and out of where you are using pills. And I mean, obviously you're able to shark them from underneath, because most of the time they're going to be in the air, except, you know, in case Peach is trying to pull turnips, because Puff is mostly just an aerial battle. But that's how I feel about them. And I mean, again, I enjoy the floaty matchups. I know a lot of people don't. I enjoy the slow aspects of the game. So this honestly may just be my bias skewing it. Realistically, it's probably closer to 45-55 for Peach, maybe for Jigglypuff. But I don't know. I see it as overall being decent for Dr. Mario. Obviously, edge guarding is probably going to be the hardest part, because you have to work much harder than them to edge guard you, or to edge guard them. They can edge guard you really easily. But yeah, overall kill power, pretty good on both of them. The setups to deal damage, pretty decent. You have access to your pills. In Peach's case, you have access to the cape. But it just happens that Jigglypuff capitalizes more off edge guards, while Peach tends to rack up damage a lot quicker, and you know, she just happens to be a bit heavier, and she can be, I'd say, a bit more difficult to KO because of that, besides just the weight reasons. Because I mean, Jigglypuff can be harder to catch because of how much more aerial drift she has, but Peach's weight combined with her floats, her recovery, and her ability to, I mean, even just to stall with Toad, can make it very difficult, especially if she's higher up, because you can't really commit to edge guarding her from that high up. And I mean, most characters can't either way, but especially when you have a recovery that's as bad as Dr. Mario, you really can't. But I mean, yeah, all in all, against Peach, I feel that, you know, you have pretty decent kill power. You can obviously use your pills. You can use your cape, and you know, if you're in the lead against Peach, it can become not necessarily easier to not necessarily easy to camper, because obviously she, with her kill power, her ability to float, and her ability to get you off stage, she can really quickly turn the tides if she manages to get inside off of, you know, floating, or even if she manages to get a turnip kill, maybe off of edge guarding, or even with like a stitch or dot eyes. But I mean, generally I'd say Peach versus Dr. Mario, even-ish. The edge guarding game pretty bad in the offstage game, but on stage, uh, pills, kill power, damage setups, pretty decent against Peach. You can shark with up air, you can use your full hop down air, your back airs to pile on damage, your down throw setups. And yeah, I mean, you always have the option to go for overshoot forward air against floaties. I enjoy doing that, but again, it's mostly out of habit. Well, it is mostly out of habit. Sometimes it's intentional, but a lot of times it's just out of habit because it's very fun to throw out, but it's not necessarily the safest option. I mean, you don't really have the upbeat cancel setups as you do with the fast fallers, but against them, a lot of that is also very DI dependent, and if they just happen to not DI in, then you're not really getting much off of it anyways, besides being able to get them off you if they try to shield pressure you. And that is also a big aspect of it, is a lot of these characters have a pretty easy time shield pressuring Dr. Mario. Obviously with some examples like Shine on the on the spacies, but again, you have that option to use up B cancel out of shield, which can help swat them away. But again, this doesn't really work too effectively against every character, because like in Peach's case, if she's trying to pressure you from above, if you try to up B cancel, you're just not going to get anything off of it. Jigglypuff, if she's pressuring you with back air, forcing you to stay in shield, she can just drift out of your range. So yeah, you're not really getting much off of it in general, going for up B cancels, other than swatting them away if they happen to be on the ground. But yeah, you really just gotta watch out for that down smash, those forwarders and those turnips against Peach, and you really have to mix up your recoveries a lot. You really have to figure out when to throw in an angled up B, a regular up B, when to down B spam to gain extra height, when to air dodge, because you really need that longevity against her. But yeah, that's how I feel about Dr. Mario versus Peach.